G'day everyone, welcome along, great to have you. I hope everybody is fine today. It is Friday morning here in Oz and I am just wrestling mildly with OBS today, so it all appears to be working. It's just, even though it's giving me terrific statistics, there appears to be about a 10 or 15 second lag between real time and what's coming through on YouTube. So that's more than double what it normally is. So I'm hoping it won't affect things. It might make the chat a little bit fiddly, which would be annoying, but I'm not sufficient. It's not a problem I've had before. And as long as the audio's synced up with the video, which we'll know in a second when we get into the game, we should be good. G'day Cranky, welcome along. So we are officially in June. And what's happened since last time? A few things have happened. So I have diagnosed a problem and got a solution in place. Well, at least I hope it's in place. Let's duck over here to the produce center. So you might remember from the last stream that for some reason, the bags that I was using were all showing 1214 litres, regardless of what they were. And see, there's one that's now 1714, and this one, good, it's got 3000 in it. So what turns out was happening, I have this setting. I usually play with this setting on, which is trailer fill limit. I normally play with that switched on. And it seems that if the trailer fill limit is on, these bags max out at, well, with the pallets that were being put into them at 1214 litres of product. And so what was happening is every time you saved, anything that was over would just disappear. So goodness knows how much produce we've lost over time, over few episodes that we've done, but that's the issue apparently. So I'm hoping now that I've turned that off, we'll be able to... Oops, that didn't work. I'm just trying to get my steering wheel to behave itself. That's much better. I'm hoping now they'll be much better. So let's just get our little truck sorted. We should be able to fill this bag up with these pallets. And get down to our new harvester, which is one of the jobs on the list for today. Now, why are you not... do I have to get out of there? I think that's it. I need to start it off. Now, the little truck we need is back here, and he can now get out to get home, so that's good. And you can trundle around there. Now our harvester, I think, is over at the store, so we can run over and pick that up. Much to do. You'll notice that the cash situation has improved a bit. I'll show you what I what I did. Oops. This is the Portrait E516B and header that we've purchased. Portrait, as I understand it, produced in the old East Germany, and fairly good looking unit, and I think will fit quite nicely on our farm. Thought I have here, potentially given the way field sizes and things are going to work, is that we might build up a small fleet of these if our cropping expands to that extent, rather than run big modern equipment. So that might be a little bit of fun and a little bit different. Where is it showing? Yeah, so I'm just concentrating on the lag for a second to see if it's improved at all. So I'm just coming on to the bridge, and according to YouTube, it hasn't got to the bridge yet. Okay, so I think the only thing that's an issue is just going to be chat is going to be behind, so I just need to be patient with questions. But I hope you're having a good week, Cranky. I think you're the only person watching at the moment. Hopefully we'll get a few others straggle in. Enjoyed both Argsy and FSG streams this week. FSG in particular seemed to be really liking the Julian F modding map. Now, where am I going to do? Let's do this at the top of the fields. All the crops coming up nicely. Yeah, so if we look across that way, you can see the mill in the background, production, and there's a flat section in front of it. We now own that raised flat section. It's paved. It's a good spot for potentially for productions and other things. It had was only 30-odd thousand to buy, and it had 3 sheds on it, and my thought was to actually move them down here where the shed area is. When I sold them, they gave me quite a bit more money than I expected, so I've only put 1 in, and because money was just constraining things a little, I thought, well, I'll just wait and see what happens as we get going along, because there's a few things that we could do that would help to have some cash. So that's the plan of attack. And a good example would be, we're going to get some straw off here. If we don't pick it up ourselves, we might want to bale it, and we don't have a baler. Well, it's not a huge field. I'm not planning to run follow me today. I think we'll just see how we go here now. Let's unfold you. That's it. Oops, no. Put down the header. Turn you on. That's pretty easy. And away we go. Can't complain about that. We will make a swath because we want a swath. Yield looks pretty good, so that's promising. I'm gonna do a bad thing. Just got my breakfast not quite finished. Downside of morning and spending a minute or two too long in the shower was I was chasing my tail, getting everything organised to start on time, and then, as always would be the case, ran into a small situation I hadn't encountered before, and I don't believe I've completely solved it, but well, I don't believe I've solved it, but I don't believe it's impacting what everybody's looking at. Would be interesting to know, Cranky, whether the picture quality is any different to what you normally see. I can't see any difference on my end. As I say, the only difference I really noticed was when I had that counter at the... Whoops. Okay, so it doesn't like this little section. That pinch there is just a little bit too steep for the header to adjust. So if I put the header down, we lift the front wheels off the ground. Can we navigate our way around it? Possibly. Always going to encounter these things when the first time you get the crop off. That's really annoying, leaving that stalk right in the corner. There we go. I suspect the primary effect of that that lag that I noticed would be a bit like having a phone conversation last century with you know, between the UK and Australia. Right, let's go and organise ourselves a vehicle to unload this into. The other thing that we'll look at through the course of today is the mods that I did the review on, which pleasingly was pretty much exactly what I was hoping it would be and looking for. So I don't know if people have had a chance to look at that. I did pin a video in the... I don't know, where are we here? Oh, the other thing I put in was a bin, just to try and hide the funny landscaping at the back there, and I thought that one kind of sat in there pretty well. And I'm pretty sure we need an auger to be filling that guy up. So we'll have to go and get one of those also. Now we need the other trailer, don't we? We need you. Get you out of the truck's way. That was a bad idea. What are you doing? These stupid collisions on this posts on this shed. Thank you. Let's grab you off the back. Oops. That's better. No. What's happening here? Why will that not? That's better. This brain not working today, is it? Gee. Now, you, that's better. We're here and let's run over and progress this. You've already got 10,000 litres in you, so we can put you on the truck. And send the truck to sell. Not quite. That's it. You out of there. Like any of these businesses, it's a busy morning in the yard. You got all your deliveries. So you should be good. You can get back downstairs. Yeah, so that's the apron, and I thought it was a good spot for productions and things when we decide how we want to expand. It's got the loading area onto the train, not that the train works. And while I think about it, and while we've got cash in the bank, what do you reckon, Cranky, if jump out of here for a second? This area here, I took one tree out and was thinking that perhaps, where is it? I don't think that really fits with the style of the map, but the other spinnery, this one, actually thought he would go on there quite nicely. What do you reckon? Because the loading areas in front of those garages, it leaves plenty of room to get in and across to the whatchamacallit, to the feed area for the sheep, and completely accidentally it works quite well with the two crossovers that I've built. It sort of looks like the manufactured one is for the building and then the farm one is to the left. Just make sure I haven't got it on the train tracks at the back. That wouldn't look good, but yeah, I reckon somewhere like that. Let's just whack that in there. How's that look? Yeah. So we can dress that up with some plants or something. It kind of looks like it somewhat fits. It's not on the rail. Those sheds probably aren't all that practical, but who comes around the back of the building? So while I'm there, if you I was going to cover it a bit later on, but if we go into our productions, make sure that's not turned on wherever it is. No, it's not. So any of the productions now have this upgrade button down the bottom. And if we take this one, for example, the spinner is often an issue for people. Because it's so slow and it's got so little storage. Well, if you hit the upgrade button, it'll tell us what the price is. So for 66,000, so that's 10% more than the original purchase. It'll give us the new level, but more importantly, what it'll do is give us 115% more cycles and double the storages, and only increment the production cost by 90%. So I actually reckon it's exactly the sort of mod that's useful without being over the top and allows you to do things. So we'll probably use it, and I'll wait until a bit later on in the stream, I think, is here. Just because it's a way of getting more storage in the mulcher production, which is attached to that building in the center of the yard, without going in and modifying everything. So that's the upgrade mod, and I think he's assuming it's a he because it's a bit hard to tell from the modder title, AZ something 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 something. I think it's really neatly done. And where it'll work beautifully is all those situations where you just wanted to increase the storage. You don't have to go in and modify the XML now, you just upgrade it. Right. The other place that it works really well is now what am I doing here? I wanted that so that we could pick up this. Which end are we picking up from? The other end, I suspect. Yeah, on maps where the map maker has put in a mod that's not quite the capacity that you want or doesn't work quite the way that you want. So a classic example, or isn't available for purchase, and so you're kind of stuck with it, or replacement, I mean, more so than purchase. So a classic example there is the Griffin, where the main farm at Griffin has a fermenter that's really slow, and depending on, why are you not loading for me? Because I've not got the right tools selected. And you've got crap in you, haven't you? Can I unload that? Let's have a look here. Yes. Yeah, so the fermenting silo is really slow on Griffin. Well, that mod would just allow you to upgrade it to the next level and job done. I'm hoping we'll get a fair amount of this field in this bin, and then we can sort out our auger. And neatly, its timing of release is really good because in the little how-to review I did, I actually did it on Silver Run. So even though all the Silver Run mods, of course, are locked because they're part of the DLC, this bin's not a good call for this on the trailer. We have to take him off. It works with those as well. So particularly some of the things like the wood turner and those productions are quite slow. It means that you've got a way to fix those. So quite neat. We've had a couple of people bump in and out. Nobody really staying to keep you company, Cranky, unfortunately. But hey, I'm glad you're here. There's no point in me staying in there, is there? Let's just turn you off. I'm trying to get better at remembering to turn off the piece of equipment as I exit it. So let's continue with this field. I still haven't managed to work out how the auction mod or which field it's working on. Yeah, well, now that the I agree with you, more will come, because now that somebody's written the script that does that, and particularly I thought what was clever is the way he's implemented it. So it doesn't change any of the actual mod definitions that it's dealing with. It just introduces its own file structure to provide an updated entry. So at any moment, like if you took the mod out, you'd immediately revert back to the level 1 settings for that production. What it opens itself up to is a clever visual modder to introduce different states to the building, so that when you upgrade from level 1 to level 2, it puts more silos, or adds to the placeable picture. And in my view, that's the sort of thing that Giants should have been putting in that function, given how they're developing things. So I think it's going to open doors for a few people. For example, I reckon Omatana could make really good use of it. Now she doesn't necessarily have to make all her little productions so prolific. You can just integrate the upgrade concept and have them step up as you invest in them. Good. Oh, that didn't take long. We're gonna get more off here than I anticipated by the looks. Might have to go and get that auger before I finish the field. Load you on. Are you familiar with augers, Frankie? Is there a particular one I should be looking at for that bin that you know of? Not quite the recommended technique, but it'll do the job. That's unloading. Let's have a look at the auger situation. So it's got to be one of these tall guys, I suspect. Meridian. Why doesn't it tell you how high its reach is? Conveyal, Westall. UTX 4. So I'm guessing that's 44 feet long. No, it can't be. Okay, so that endorsement works for me. So the question is, does this one reach high enough, or do we have to go with the big boy? I would hope that the smaller one works. What we're going to do is, we got the cash in the bank. Let's just buy it. We don't know that. We'll find a use for it if it doesn't. What's the difference between that one? That looks like a really big one. Okay. Oh no, that's the really big one. Yeah, we don't need that one. We'll see. And if I'm going to continue doing this way, I reckon I need 2 of these bins, one on either side of the field by the looks. Welcome along. Somebody's just popped in. Happy to have you lurk if that's what's working for you. But equally, love to know who's joined us. I understand that people watch from work and all sorts of places where they can't necessarily chat, so that's fine. But thanks for popping in. We are on Newlands. And this is our first harvest on this field with our new old Fortschritt E516B, fresh from the East German factory. Yeah, that's a big hole there, isn't it? That's where I got stuck before. Can we get this little bit here? Greetings. Great to have you in, Hodge One. Saskatchewan. I used to work with a chap from Moose Jaw. He took great delight in the depths of our winter, pointing out that we are completely clueless about the cold. And it wasn't really cold until it got to more than 30 below. Yes, yeah, he was a lot of fun. Didn't mind a beer, which meant he fitted in quite well down in this part of the world. But I have to say that's been true of most of the Canadians that I've come across in my travels. We've done it again. Sail on by. Okay, so there's our new auger, which we will go and get shortly. Actually, we'll go and what we'll do, we'll drop you off there. How are we going to do this? Let's do what? Let's leave you there. Having cash is burning a hole in my pocket briefly, so we'll use some of it. So if you're not familiar with Newlands Hodge 1 and anyone else that's popped in, this is a little village. I quite like this map. It's got a little bit of feel to it. Nice little village. Plenty of people around. Some quirky little features in the market here, which reminds me we need to sell the rest of those trees if they haven't already. They sold themselves. Excellent. So you can go back to the garden centre. Potted tree load. There you go. Ah, south of you. Okay. That means you're even colder than Moose Jaw. Ugh. No wonder you're inside watching some crazy person in Oz stream. It is. I reckon the map maker's done a really good job with it's Gwendal is the name of the map maker, with just the feel of this valley and how it's all been done. Now let's go in here. What we want first is, I can't remember where they're hidden. One of these. What's the difference? Let's grab a second one of those. And we want a back for it. Where are they hidden? Maybe they're miscellaneous. Oh, balmy minus 13. Somewhere across here. Cold room chest, sliding curtain. No. Where's that? They're off the scan here anyway. Why can't I see those? Maybe they're in trailers as well. It's the trouble. You get too many mods. Oh, there we go. Grain container, short grain container. That's the one we want. Oh, it's not. We want the cheapie. This guy. More in keeping with our farm. And we'll put... make this one in a battered red colour. Now what I'm hoping... Can I open that? Not that way, I can't. It might be a bit of a stretch. But will we be able to get the auger to drive into the back there and then hoist it? Find out in a second. I reckon that auger will be big enough for our bin. Hope so. No. Oops. Try unloading you. Now, get over there. Hook, hook, hook. A bar hook or bar crook. There we go. Now we can hook on. Now, if I go to you, and I open the doors. That's what I was hoping. And how lucky are we feeling, folks? Looks a little bit ridiculous, but is it going to let me? Lift him up a bit. I'm going to be just too wide for that opening, aren't I? That sucks. Nice idea. But it failed. I'll have to come back with the flatbed. Never mind, we've got another. I don't want to detach. I want to put you up. There we go. We've got a lot more grain capacity now. We're back down to 2 viewers. Canada and the UK. It's the Commonwealth show today. I have not had time this week to look into trying to fix that spline there for that train. I did have an idea that potentially I could I can fix the spline. It doesn't matter that it necessarily that it looks like the train heads into the ground. Because nobody will really see it over there. So now we want to do that. Don't know how much time you guys have spent in Europe. This actually reminds me quite a bit of the valley around Chamonix and Mont Blanc. Spent a few weeks there one Christmas a few years ago and was covered in snow. And it was kind of reminded me of this in the middle of winter. Of course, it got dark fairly quickly. The days were pretty short because you've got this sort of little flat valley and then these towering mountains either side. And the skiing was pretty cool. I don't believe it probably shows my age. I don't believe I've ever watched a YouTube video of any length on my phone. Let's continue around the corner, just shave that off. There's a few folks popping in and out according to the statistics, which is good to see. Just seeing what we're doing, of course. Popping in using our portrait here. I'm not quite going to get around. We'll put you, I'll fill this load up. I might empty here just because we can. There we go. And we'll put a worker on for a second and pop back over to the yard and fill up another load, try and get another load into the market before 9 o'clock. We don't want you, we don't want you, we don't want you. We do want you. Where's my ute gone? Oh, you're stuck in the middle of there. Okay, put you off there. So we'll beat him over here. Into, what do we got there? We got plenty to fill up with, so he should be here momentarily. He's like, how the hell did you do that? Welcome along, whomever's just joined us. Glad to have you here. Feel free to say hi. There's a little bit of lag in chat, so the stream itself appears to be going really fine, but for some odd reason I've got a bit more lag than I normally do between chat and stream. Yeah, let's see here. We want to load from auto load from that side, which means we need to do this. G'day, Jason. Hey, you're working for a living, and if I recall correctly, you're probably preparing to come to Brisbane, are you not? I would imagine that's tagging out pretty badly. What's happening here? Yes, it's loading. Good. We'll just wait and watch this. For those that have joined in the last little bit, so it's pinned in the link, but one of the things that came out during the week is the Upgrade Productions mod. And I've got that installed here. The thing it does on your productions is it adds an upgrade button down the bottom. And it doesn't matter whether they're custom mods or base game. It'll work as far, well, I haven't found anything it won't work on at the moment, but I particularly like it for built-in ones like this mulcher where the storage is a bit low, and so you can potentially hit the upgrade button and it'll say, well, okay, for $22,000 we can go to level 2. I won't do that at the moment, but what it would do is give me 115% more cycles. So it increase this, wouldn't change any of the formulas, just the cycles would increase, and it doubles the storage and slightly reduces the production costs. So really neat. Quite simple, very effective. It works on greenhouses. So we've got 6 greenhouses, but if we said, you know, we want our greenhouse to work more efficiently, and for instance, you know, a lot of people complain that lettuce aren't prolific enough. Well, you could upgrade a greenhouse that you're just doing lettuce in and solve that directly. So I think it's a pretty neat mod. I would imagine it would have been a bit of fun. Jason, how long have you been there? How are we going here? We're out of the spot. Let's do it the other way around. How much is in it? 2,000. Let's move these up. It should fill pretty quickly. Cost for upgrade is 100 and so the original purchase of the mod plus 10%. So if it's a greenhouse, if it's a large greenhouse and it costs $10,000, then the first upgrade will be $11,000. The second upgrade will be $12,000. So it adds 10% of the original purchase for each supplemental upgrade. Well, 4 years is long enough for the whole family to well and truly become fluent. So there we go. It's just about gonna fill us up, I reckon. Perfect. So let's whack you back in the truck, and you'll, with any luck, get across before the gates shut on the market. Drop you in there. And send you to FM cell. There we go. Yeah, so, oh, that's the other thing we've done. Well, except that it depends what fields I guess you're in, but the but my very limited experience, half the technical stuff in some fields was anglicized words anyway. So I found I could follow. I couldn't necessarily make sense trying to answer any questions, but I could at least follow the conversation. Right, so where am I up to? I want to go and sort this harvester out. That's what I want to do. But the other thing I was going to just mention to you, reference about the upgrade. I just want to get this worker off the... stop you there. If we go into the... So I placed, just before with Cranky, the spinnery. And so we just put a base game spinnery in at $60,000. So this is just the garden variety. And you'll see it tells you what level of production is over here. And so if we want to upgrade the base game one, I don't have enough money, so it's not going to tell me. That's annoying. We can go to the Terro mulcher. So we know that the price of the mulcher is 20,000. So if I wanted to upgrade the mulcher, the new cost of level 2 will be 22. So I reference all the formulas in a little 5-minute or 6-minute video that I attached in the notes for this. So if you have a look at that I do some examples on Silver Run just to sort of work through it. But basically it's really simple, and I think a really neat addition. Just one of those mods that you have in your toolkit for every now and again. Maybe not something that you use all the time if you don't use a lot of productions, but every now and again a situation comes up. And the one I can most readily think of is when I put down farm production to do something like this, a seed factory, and it doesn't have enough storage, or it's kind of close but not quite there, because I don't tend to go for the ones with the ridiculous capacities, but then sometimes you sort of err on the other side and they're a bit small. Well, this is a perfect opportunity. Just, simple click, purchase the upgrade, and you got to pay for it, and you can fix your capacity, double your storage or whatever. So quite useful, I think. Certainly what I've been looking for as a way to sort of improve the effectiveness of productions. What industry, Jason, if you don't mind me asking? I have a suspicion, but it's cool if you don't want to elaborate. Exactly. Well, it works really well. I was saying before, the place that cool. The reason I had a suspicion was that my daughter's partner is in the same, and anyway, I had Griffin is the place. So on, if you've played anyone's played any time on Griffin, there's a silo, fermenting silo attached to the main farm, which is terrific, and it fits right in. It's all integrated into the map. It's just for the size of the map and the fields, it's horrendously slow. So, you know, there's a meadow that you get with the main farm just over the road, if you're watching my Griffin series. Well, you first cut a grass on that, even the meadow grass, without doing anything to it, will overflow the fermenting silo, and then it'll take more than a game year to actually process the grass. Yet, if you'd baled it, your bales would ferment in a month. So, that's a perfect candidate where you could just do the upgrade and job's done. It sounds very similar, Jason. Right. So if a built-in production is done properly, it'll still have a value, because it's just part of the placeable setting, and typically the only thing that denotes built-in replaceable is that it you can't place one yourself, and that's just a flag that is usually set in the XML to say that it doesn't appear in the shop menu. But other than that, all of the ones that I've seen are exactly the same when you find them in that hidden in the actual map files. So it just uses that value and works off that. That's exactly how it works. And in fact, because it works off that value, when you upgrade it, it upgrades the amount you've got invested, and so you'll get back a proportion of your, if you then sell an upgraded building, you'll get back a proportion of your overall investment. And so the mod has really thought about it, and I think done it quite cleverly. Very unobtrusive. Now, I'm sure there are things you could do in situations that you could break it, but for my purposes, I think it's really neat. And I think there'll be opportunities now that somebody's sort of cracked the nut, so to speak. It opens the door for the visual modders to put, you know, 3 versions of their building there with different versions upgraded at different times. Oh, well, sorry, different versions of the building appearing with different versions of the upgrade. which I think pays its way nicely into the concept of the project that Giants have introduced, where you could, you know, you could contract AGI, for example, to come and build you a silo complex or a barn, and have that develop in stages as you deliver materials to it. So be interesting to see where, oops, not quick enough on the brakes. Notice just as the head came up. Drove over a little bit of crop, never mind. Can we see in the engine there? There's a few moving parts. Looks like an engine. What's that? Automotive Aficionados V12 maybe? No, just a V8. I can't count. V8 by the looks. Exactly. Well, I think that the whole upgrade thing, like the roller coaster, it suggests that they've got a mechanic around that that they've introduced. They haven't given any details on how to use it, but you'd have to imagine that that's going to be unlocked at some point for people to use, and therefore you could absolutely have stuff not arrive instant. I think that's all cool. What do people think about the year 2 seasons pass? How many people have bought it already or are contemplating it? Cheers, folks. The reason I'm pausing is that I know there's a bigger lag than normal for some reason between chat and the stream. I don't know why that's the case. It's been there since the beginning. So Cranky will be getting it. Okay. It must have improved a little bit. You haven't even seen the promo. That's perfectly understandable. It doesn't have a lot, to be honest. It's a classic Giants teaser in my limited opinion. I haven't decided about seasons 2. I'll wait and see. I think the path I'll probably take is to see what comes out in the first installment, and that'll decide me. Because if I look back to this year, I certainly felt after the Antonio Carrero pretty disappointed and a little bit let down, you know, despite how it was presented, and several people have talked about it. That was really only 3 tractors, and all the rest were just variants of the same. So it's not something that I would have bought, and certainly once I understood that even for what they were, they're pretty limited in their application. You know, you can't use them effectively on vines that run up hills, for example, so because they're just underpowered. So I wouldn't have bought that one. Probably would have bought the Kubota and the Vermeer, and I'm really enjoying Silver Run, so I would have bought that. So when I look at season 2, I kind of go, not enough information in the packs to suggest what it's going to be, so I'll wait and see what comes out with the first one. If I'm blown away by the first one, then I'll probably buy it. If not, I'll wait until I see something that I really want to have. So I commented on one of the forums. I think the way it's written up, the prospect of what's in it's pretty light. You know, if I look at pick 3 of your favorite modders, so I'm sort of thinking in my case maybe an Omatana, 82 Studios, and Alien Jim or Oxygen David. Either map maker will do. And so, well, what will they deliver in a year compared to the seasons pass? And if I look at year 1, I kind of feel like those 3 out delivered the seasons pass. So and that just kind of concerns me a bit, Cranky. I think I mean, Pumps and Hoses has some content that I'm interested in. I just want it to be fixed, and I agree with you. The fact that it hasn't is disappointing. You know, I see quite a few commentators talking about the, you know, Giants is only a small company and they're doing really well. Well, yeah, they are. They've got a good product. They've got an amazing community helping them with content. But there's a whole bunch of more of the technical aspects of their business, which they could and should be doing a lot better. I mean, you know, my background is software engineering, software development, and yeah, it's hard and complex and you trip over things, but gee, no idea, Jason. I don't know who's got the ball. I have seen a couple of things written online which suggests that Creative Mesh customer support is terrific, but that the things that people are complaining about are sitting more with Giants. And Giants have been distracted with, you know, their marketing of the Platinum expansion and those sorts of things. Oh, the summer withdrew after 2 days here. I'm feeling it. The heater's not on, but it's cold enough to make my hands cold. More hot coffee required. Oh, I'm quite enjoying this harvester. Oops. Well, I suspect from a modder standpoint, there's I don't know how big the sales pool was for pumps and hoses, but because people stopped talking about it so quickly, I mean, I can't. Probably December Farms is the only YouTuber I've noticed that actually uses it, and Scott's, you know, had a go on Greystone, but I can't think of any of the big name folks that have even referred to it in the last 6 weeks. Hodge One lurking, you were on your phone. It's freezing cold in your part of the world, and you did say hi before. Lurking is perfectly acceptable. You'll notice that Jason came in exhausted just for a minute and is still here, which is very nice of him. Yeah, I would love to see like an irrigation mechanic introduced. I mean, to me, kind of flurry's vaguely interesting, but you know, in this part of the world, water management and pivots and all that sort of stuff, they're the mechanics that the game needs. And you know, when I look at the stuff that for the Year 2 Seasons Pass, you know, there was no mention of animals at all. You know, we get potentially at the end of the year with what people are assuming is a Russian or a Polish map, potentially carrots and maybe something else. And it's kind of like, really? That's all you got? And that's what I meant. Whoops, let's just destroy some of the crop. I've done a little bit of that today. And that's what I meant in my comparison with the 3 big modders. You know, a 100-person software house ought to be capable of out delivering substantially 3 individuals working privately in their spare time. So that's where, you know, it's not so much am I disappointed by the prospect of what they are promising. No, I'm not, you know. And will I probably buy it? Some or all of it, certainly. But do I have an expectation as a software professional that they should be aiming higher and doing better? Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit underwhelming. Now, maybe that's their plan for the year, is, you know, under promise and over deliver. That's a good strategy if that's what they're doing. Yes, there seems to be some discussion about whether the little icon depicted was a carrot or a parsnip. It depends where you come from. I guess, or return it for that matter. Did I miss a little bit over there? I did I? Goodness. Yeah. Well, again, 100 person software company, well organized, is quite capable of managing that that distinction. I mean, let's look at it. They've effectively got two code bases, which they manage into one synchronization largely. Their core development units, probably 10 or 15 heavy duty coders, and then their largest teams, almost certainly their visual asset folks, so the people doing the models and all those sorts of things. You're going to have, you know, maybe 3 or 4 architects, a bunch of testers. That's very straightforward. I mean, they should be absolutely capable with a well-engineered release process. And remember, they've been practicing this for years, of kicking out, well, at least a release a month, and a major version every 2 years without breaking a sweat if they're well set up. Like I would, you know, the teams that I ran, you wouldn't be running one of my teams for very long if you couldn't engineer that sort of cadence, because the business units you were supporting wouldn't put up with you. So right, let's pop this on the trailer. And we know from the mere existence of the Seasons Pass at FS24 is the earliest possible date for a new version. So realistically, for in the world we live in, for a 24 release of a new version, you're not going to have many folks coding that. You'll have a few of your most senior technical people doing what they need to, but at this stage you'd only have a really small team, relatively speaking, working on that, and that wouldn't change for another, 6 to 9 months, I wouldn't have thought. Right, so we've got, this is the crop off, we've got to go and pick up our auger. So we've got a little bit left in there. Let's go and get the other trailer off the field. We need a flatbed for the auger. We need to check in. I can't remember, did we fertilize our crops last time or not? Let's have a look. Let's go to the correct screen. So pH, we did. They're looking fairly fertilized. So we don't need to do anything with those. Now the plan here, I wanted to keep some of this barley to make seed because probably won't show up. No, it doesn't know I have barley yet. But barley's prices are down at the 300 or so because we're playing on hard economies. So it's a lot cheaper than 800 for seed. So I want to be making seed. So we need a way to do that. It's, what am I doing? Single track thinking. Get you out of there. Let's put you in. Turn you around. We need to get the crop into the silo, which means we need a flat trailer. Over at the... So we can leave you sitting there. We can queue you off. No, I want you one. I want disconnect you. So we'll go and get a flatbed to put the silo on. We can zip through our new shed here. And up we go. So I reckon that looks pretty smart there, our spinnery and wool production. So that fits in fairly nicely. For those that didn't catch it before, so we've bought the paved area just here also. So we've got some places to put future productions. I think we want that tray there. Turning circle's not quite what I wanted. There we go. Hookity dookity. And I noticed that we've still got a worker, so that means our guy got stuck at the gate. So let's go and sort that out before. There we go. What a prediction. Turn that off. He didn't quite make it before the bollards came up, so we'll just back him off there. And we will carry our very heavy pallet of trees into our sell point. Get some more cash in the door. And that can wait till later. Let's go and get our it's a bit dyslexic with the fingers translation today. Which side of the road? Want this way, don't I? Oop, boom. And my crossings are much smoother than theirs, if I do say so. Could zip in cab for a bit. Pretty sure tractors are not a popular choice on the autobahn. Are any of you in teams for Argsy and FSG's logging league? Concept looks like yeah, well, I may have a crack at it because it's bugging me that it's sitting there and not running. The thing was, in my professional career, I was under no illusions. I used to say this to the developers all the time. I never wrote a line of code commercially in my life. That wasn't what I brought to the table. I brought a bunch of different skills to a development team. My core competence is project management and then general management, but with a pretty strong, yeah, exactly, cue the park train, and with a pretty strong technical background from a systems engineering standpoint. So that served me well because it just really helped being mainframe trained from back in the day. There's a whole bunch of concepts that folks that have only ever worked on PCs just don't understand, but they're still core concepts. I don't want to do that. I want to do that again. Now, let's see. This will be somewhat unwieldy, I think. And because the tray is probably the same width as the container I tried to drive it into before, or just... Come on. Okay, lost all steering inputs. Because the steering wheel is not on the ground. Out there. There's worse results. Turn you off. Whoops. Oh, I never tried. I have never tried that. We'll try that when we get to the other end. This is really only the second time that I've used... let's try doing that first. Don't tip it off. You are locked on. We might jump out because it might be nice to see. That doesn't look too hideously ridiculous on there. Not quite as bad as I thought. I'm not... Oh, I did stop for the pedestrians. Yes, I understand. I understand what you mean. We will give it a... Or at least I think I understand what you mean. We will give it a whirl when we get to the other end. The other thing I want to have a look at is what's in the store. I just remembered I looked and there was a really nice class there, I think. Or is that on Griffin? It's the only downside of doing 3 active things, of 3 kind of core maps running at the moment, plus testing for stuff, is I lose track of where I'm at and what I'm up to. A little. So if we drop you off there. Back you off there. Now I'm guessing it'd be the fuel tank end that if it was going to connect, that it'd connect to. Let's just see here. Nope. Is that what you meant, Jason? Just back up to it and... Yes. As you can see, I haven't put it in. I haven't put anything in the shed. Auger end. So how do I get it? Oh, you reckon there's a hitch on the auger head? That would make sense, wouldn't it? In fact, looking at it, possibly we'll just come in and there's a pin hitch on it, is there? If I can line up properly. How about that? Well done, Jason. Thank you very much. So now that we may need it, because we may have not got one that was big enough. That was a voyage of discovery as well. Oh, we might go pretty close though. Nope. Not enough reach. Bugula. Okay. Well, now we have to go and get another one. Your jargon's miles ahead of mine, mate. That looks like an auger, and this is a head, and it's got a pin hitch on it, so That's good. But right now, we need to go back and get a larger one. You know, the key stat that I was missing was that dimension in the shop. Cranky and I were discussing it earlier. They didn't give us that piece of information, so I guessed and guessed incorrectly. But that's okay. We'll find a use for it. We're aiming to have a big farm, so I did hesitate. I almost leased it just in case, but I'm feeling better about our finances now, so we'll take your advice on which one, how big I need to go, because I wasn't sure. It's not the one that makes seed. I would also like the one that makes seed. I'm thinking of potentially getting that one as well, but the one that makes seed won't reach up there. Maybe pass compatibility. I didn't see it as an option. I was looking for it, but that doesn't mean I looked in the right spot. See, it doesn't. There's no extra. Because it's going into a fixed object, and I don't believe you get it. So that's the one that's the one we got. That's the one that makes seed. STX 1051. So that one would definitely reach, right? Because he's enormous. But you don't get a compatible button here, and I don't believe there's any information in the actual silo thingy. Where is it? So that's the bin. It's one of these. And it doesn't tell you. Just tells you need an auger or a conveyor. Conveyor from basic is the normal one. Okay, let's go back to there. All right, he's large. But the 1394 is the largest. Oh, okay. So he and the conveyor look. You'll see the conveyor looks even bigger. That'd be, assuming there's any sense of scale, that'd be way too big for that yard. And I'm guessing this just doesn't go up high enough. So looks like we go with this guy. Yep. Let's buy one of them. Okay. It does say at the top, AGI flat bottoms, so, but that's just sort of sell them their own product. The other thing I wanted to look at here is a Massey. And there's a baler. The baler's interesting. That means we could make straw bales. Let's buy one of those. That just gives us a simple baling solution for when we need it. Now, first order of business. Well, he's got an obvious tow hitch. Oh, so that's the other thing. This one needs a PTO attached device by the looks. So I'll require a PTO generator if I don't want to leave a tractor attached to it. That's not a problem. It's not a problem. Confusion is what makes the world go round. It keeps it interesting, Jason. That's how we learn things. These streams are all about giving stuff a go so that when you get to your solo game, you've got more of a plan. You don't have to do all the experimentation when you're doing a hard mode grind and the dollars are more precious. So this looks like is geared up to do the job, so all will be good. We will find a use for that other one. In fact, that other one will do fairly nicely for if I position it right. For you. Very good. Yes, touche. I just call them senior moments. And I figured once you're over 50, you're allowed to have them. Rightio. How does this work? Like so. Okay, this will be just the right height. By the looks. Backing it onto the into the spot could be tricky. That might sort of be right. What happens here? Unload here, follow initiate. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Move this tractor out of the way. Put you back on. No. That one. That one. Get there in the end. Yeah, but you get to watch me mess with it, Cranky. It's frustration-free zone for you. The one I've got on Silver Run is integrated to the little Winkler silo that I put in, so that's cool. We can leave this trailer here for now and take you back. They've even got some wolves sitting there. About half a pallet. We're coming up to... We've got a few minutes to go. It'd be nice to actually get this stuff in the silo. So we need to go and get... We've now got room to put our equipment in the shed, drive over the wood pile. Let's see here. Which way do we want to come round? This way will do. Our silage is all fermented over there, which is good. Yeah, can I unload off the thingy, or do I have to? Let's find out. Okay, what's happening here? Do I have to open the top of that? Nope. Can't get into you. You're running. Okay. You briefly ran. I'm confused. I am so confused. Let's see here. That's lined up, right? I didn't manage to get any into the... Let's shut you off for a sec. Let's go to plan B here for a second because it's a bit easier than doing it with a truck. Where's my hoop? Somewhere lying around here is... I'll do that. I'll check the trigger in just a second. What I'm looking for is where have I put... There it is. Whoop. That was a bit bizarre. Shouldn't be getting lag here. It should have some in it. I just figured if I could prove that the auger works, okay, so that's in the auger. So that works because we now have 1523. So we know if we line up properly, it is always a chance that the fill out of this bin is in the wrong plane for the auger. So it's just... But at least we now know that the auger is positioned correctly, and if I manage to get it in the right spot, no, I dropped it before. What happens? Nope. No grain door, I can't do that. I need to go to there. Now if I... Yeah, what I'm wondering if yeah, I think the trailer's too big for this, which is positioning the drop zone in the wrong spot. That's okay. Whoops, we live and we learn. Ah, get up there. That's the one I want. So we can drop it on the floor. Too bad about the gravel. So that works all right. Yeah, I'll give some thought about how I want to do that. I guess is, yeah, there is just a little bit of grit, right? Just provides some body for the barley. I'll give some thought about how we want to do that, but I think you're right, Cranky. I think the bins just, this bit's getting in the way, and probably the two-wheel trailer would work better for this size container. The other one's a 3 as well, isn't it? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. We'll worry about that. That's the sort of thing I can straighten out during the week. Because I've got all this equipment to put away as well. We need to get over. Let's put the grain at least under the covers and out of the weather for the minute. Would you forage into the auger? Oh. That header probably would pick it up off the ground. Yes. I'm pretty sure it would. If we go to... Where are we? Yep. I'd be pretty confident that that'll work. So, yes, I could just tip the pile and pick it up that way. Not overly realistic, of course, but yeah, I hadn't noticed that. That might have been what caused that funny lag spike before, which caused me to crash into the everything. Okay. Which one am I allowed to do? That one. Thank you. Let me out of there. Go and grab the baler from the shop, and that's where we might call it for today, folks. We're making some progress getting the farm set up. I'm quite pleased with how it's coming along. It's a bit of fun. And now that I've solved for those bags, so for those that weren't here at the beginning, the problem that I was talking about last time with the global transport bags. So you might recall I had this really funny thing where they only had 1,214 litres in each of them. And I was sure that we were losing product. Well, we were. So I had the option for max trailer limit turned on. And a side effect of having that turned on is if you save the game and exit with more than 1,214 litres of basic product in those bags, it just throws the rest away and leaves you with 1,214 litres, because at save the game treats those bags like a trailer and therefore enforces the max load limit. So took a little bit of figuring out to solve, and had a bit of a parallel research, but turning that off, I've now managed to put more in it. So if you're using those global transport bags and have that funny symptom, just keep an eye on that setting. But for now, I think this is where we're going to leave it. And thank you all for hopping in and joining me. Enjoy your upcoming weekend. Good time of the year to go out and do some fun things. I'm off to see Billy Joel here in Melbourne. Yeah, because so the bags run, Jason, sorry, I'll just come back to that. The bags run on don't have a script. So and because there's an Unreal, whoops, let's try hitting the correct button. Because there's an Unreal mode element to the bags, and I run them with a 10,000 litre maximum, but you can have I think it's a 200,000 litre maximum. In order to keep them simple, and I'm guessing to make them work on console, they have a that it ignores the weight limit once you put product in it. However, when it comes to save it as a vehicle, I think the game, because it stores it in the vehicle file, it treats it as a trailer and it enforces that limit. So while that game was running, I wasn't having an issue with it. It was only when it was saving it at the end that it was writing it down. So anyway, now you can see I've got 3,000 in, and that 3,000 was actually there at the start of the day, and I moved them away from here so pallets would spawn. That was part of my troubleshooting. But anyway, we'll fix those next time. But yes, I'm off to see Billy Joel at the MCG tomorrow night, which will be a lot of fun. And I'll catch you all next week. Adelshoven will be Monday evening for me, Monday morning for anyone that's around in the UK or the US. And we'll get into next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. See ya.